Welcome to Redefining Balance for Working Moms podcast, where we believe life balance is possible. Yes, even for you. You might just have to redefine what it looks like for yourself. I'm your host, fellow working mom, and founder of Your Life Rocks, Jenny Stemmerman. Each week, I'll bring you practical, real-life tips to help you focus on the things that matter most in life and be the best version of yourself in every area that God has called you to. Ready to redefine what balance looks like for you in your life? Let's go. Hey there, welcome to the show. I am so glad that you're here to hang out with me today because this week is our last episode of our summer refresh series. I cannot believe 7 weeks went by so quickly. Summer flew by, and I hope it was an amazing summer for you and your family. I know for me personally, it's been an amazing summer, but it does feel like it's starting to come to an end. And you know, as much as I'm sad to see summer go, I am ready for the next season of life, waiting with open arms and fully in anticipation of what God is going to do. Now, as we've gone throughout the 7-week series, every single week we have focused in on a different area, a different theme to really help you bring in more joy into summer. And as you're ending this, it's all about keeping that joy continuing on into the next season, into the next few weeks, into the next few months, even into the next few years of your life. Because I mean, how great is that to think about having a life full of joy? Really, that's what we're called to have when we partner with God in our life, when we invite Jesus in to have a relationship with him. We can expect to have a life full of joy. Now, like we said in the very beginning of this 7-week series, when we're talking about a biblical joy, it's very different than a worldly joy. But in this episode, what we're going to be focusing in on kind of hits on joy in both areas, no matter how you define it. Because this episode, we are talking about defining balance for you and your life and your family. Now, just as a reminder, you can get all of the resources, the exercises, everything like that for all 7 weeks, including this week, inside of the app. You'll go to the courses section and you'll find it there. Now, if you don't yet have the app, you can go to your app store and just search for Your Life Rocks and it will come right up. It's a free app to download right onto your phone, both Android and iPhone. And this is our free resource inside the app. We have a lot of other great free resources inside of the app. And you can also upgrade right there to Life Balance membership, where you can get all of the systems, the courses, and even more good stuff to help you create more balance in your life. But before you can create it, you have to define it for yourself. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about on today's episode. And here at Your Life Rocks, we talk a lot about balance on this podcast, in the app, in our communities, and all of the other resources that we provide, because that's just what we're all about. That's what I feel like God has called me to do. We help working moms just like you create more balance in your life. And I have to be honest, sometimes I wonder if that really is the right message, because you hear so many people say that balance is not possible, that being a mom, having a career, and everything else that makes up your life is just impossible to do. And lately I've heard a lot of people say, well, I don't believe in balance, but I believe in harmony. And I'm thinking, well, aren't they really the same thing? Maybe you have a different definition behind a different word, but mainly the idea of them are the same. It's about having joy in everything that God has called you to do. Because otherwise you can look at society and you can get this message that as moms, period, whether you are a working mom or a stay-at-home mom or anything else, but moms are always going to be stressed out and feeling tired or feeling like a hot mess or feeling like they don't have it together. And really, that's not the identity that we are called to have as Christians, no matter what we're doing. But if God has called you into the workplace, if he has called you into a place to be a light, to use your special giftings that he's given you, then it feels even more, whether the messages we hear from society or even just our own internal messaging, it feels like it could be impossible. So I want to ask you this question. Do you truly believe, let's not even use the word balance, that just not having a life of chaos is possible for you? Do you feel like having a life full of joy instead of stress is possible for you? Because regardless of how you define it, that's truly what it is, right? It's not feeling that strain and feeling that pull and feeling like you're doing something wrong, feeling like everything is out of control. Everything is stress. Because really, when we think about when we hand over our life to God, when we are living in His purpose and we're living for His will, that's not how He called us to be, right? We're called to have the fruits of the Spirit, to have patience and to have joy, to love other people. But when we're stressed out, we can not love on other people very well. At least I know I can't. And this is why balance is so important. Now, one time I had heard someone defining balance as equal time, and I was thinking, well, no wonder everyone thinks it's impossible. I mean, to think about the amount of hours in a day, 24 hours, that I'm going to spend the same amount of time with my kiddos, being a mom, the same amount of time being a wife, the same amount of time going to work. Like, it just doesn't even make any sense. Like, why that would ever be even a thought that could be what balance is. But rather for me, when I think about what balance is, it's more of the balance of intentions. Because I might be spending more hours at work, but am I only thinking about work 24 hours a day? No. There are a lot of other times that I'm being intentional with my kids, even if I only have an hour with them to put them to bed at night, and I've worked late, and I've missed dinner, and I've missed bath time, and I've missed everything else. If I have even just 10 minutes, but I'm super intentional with that 10 minutes and fully present for them, there's something to be said for that. It's not about time. It's about where you are being intentional in your life. And not just intentional, but really intentional to grow, intentional to give over that part of your life to God and fulfill His will in that area, to follow Him in the directions that He's giving you in all of those different areas of life. Now, here at Your Life Rocks, we break it down into 8 different areas, and that's your faith, marriage, parenting, being a mom, your career, health, home, finances, and lastly, friends and fun. Now, for some of you, you might have other areas that kind of fit into that. You might have maybe a ministry area that's outside of your work area. And so it might be a different thing for you. I know some of you listening are widows or you're divorced and you don't have necessarily the marriage component going on in your life right now in the season of life that you're in. And that's okay. It doesn't mean if you have more areas or less areas that you can't balance, but most people have those 8 areas of life. And so those are the things that we talk about, is having intentional to grow in the way that God would call us to grow in those 8 areas to achieve life balance. Now, of course, that's way easier said than done, but I truly believe that all things are possible when we go through it with a lens of putting Jesus first. When we go down that path of saying, Lord, whatever you would have in these areas, that's what I want. That's when we're going to start to find balance in our life. That's when we're going to start to be able to create those systems that feed into the balance. But we got to put Him first in order to do so. And to say that even with God by my side, I can't be a working mom. I can't take care of my kids and be the wife I want to be and take care of my body and be a good steward with my finances and my home and foster great relationships and be there for other people. To say that that's impossible, even with God by my side, I'm sorry, but I just don't think that's right. And that's why I truly believe that balance is possible. If you don't like the word balance, use the word harmony, use whatever works for you. But ultimately, like so many other things in this world, it has nothing to do with the words we use. It has mostly to do with our heart and our mind and what our intentions are before God on this issue. Because at the end of the day, balance really comes down to our identity. And where does our identity come from? Are we letting society call our identity as a working mom, quote unquote, who maybe is a hot mess and doesn't have it all together? Now, there might be times, because I identify with this, there are certainly times when I feel like it's an uphill battle. There are certainly times that I feel challenged and unequipped in the role that I'm currently in. And if you have preteens, if you have teenagers, you know. I mean, I even remember like when my son was a baby, and I remember the first time everyone left the house after my first son was born, and we brought him home from the hospital, and everyone left, and it was just me and my husband, and the baby started to cry, and we just looked at each other like, oh my gosh, they let us keep him. Why would they do that? We have no idea what we're doing. And every single year we've experienced the same thing. Like, I don't know what to do with toddler tantrums. I don't know what to do with school things. I don't know what to do with now teenagers. Every season comes with that same, I don't know what I'm doing kind of a feeling where you feel so ill-equipped. But that's where having community, comes into play. That's where coming together with other moms and being able to learn and know that you're not alone and we're all just trying to figure things out the best we can. Those all contribute to helping you create great balance in your life. And together, we'll figure it all out. But it all starts with your own mindset. It starts with you deciding that it might just be possible for you, that you're going to choose to have an identity in Christ. You're going to choose to put on that armor of God, that you're going to choose to have the fruits of the Spirit come through in your life and show up in your life so that you can truly be the light of God out in the workplace, to your kids, everywhere you go. And it might not be easy, but it sure is possible. So just like every episode, I have 3 things to help you out, to kind of guide you through this process of defining what balance looks like for you. And again, you can find all of this inside of the app when you go to the courses section, and then you can go to the Summer Refresh series, go down to week number 7, and this is where you're going to find all of that information. So step number 1 is truly just to decide and believe that balance is possible for your life. And I truly mean it. I do not want you to rush past this particular exercise because it's easy to say, yeah, I guess I can kind of believe that's possible. I mean, sure, why not? But that's not really believing it, is it? But making a commitment to decide that, yeah, this is something that I need to define myself with. I need to create this in my life and really switch that mindset of I'm not just going to struggle through the week. I'm not going to just try to survive the day and make it to the weekend, but I'm truly going to decide to make the most out of each and every single day, to be the best I can be in everything that God has called me to make that mental shift in your mind, in your heart. That is truly what step number 1 is all about. And it's so much easier said than done. If you're not even close to being there, you might be like, okay, but how do you do that? And truly, you just bring it before the Lord. You pray. So I would challenge you this week that when you're doing your morning time, when you're getting ready for work, if you don't yet have a morning routine or you're driving, if you're driving right now when you listen to this, I just would pray. Just pray about it. Bring it before the Lord and say, God, search my heart, search my mind. Help me find a way that I can accept this as a truth, as a promise of you, that through you, might not always be easy, but it's definitely going to be possible. And if you're really finding a lot of resistance, just ask God to help you change your mind. Help him to create a new mind, because that's what he does. That's what's so amazing about God. One of the many things that's so amazing about God. But just ask him to walk this path with you. Ask him to go on this journey with you of creating balance in your life. So that's step number 1, is to decide and truly believe. Step number 2 is all about helping you create that definition for yourself. And it's going to be different for everybody. And to be honest, it's probably going to change at least once a year, probably a lot more than that even, because we all go through different seasons, different changes. Our kids are growing up. They might be in different stages of development, different issues that are going on in our lives and our careers. Things are always moving. Things are always changing. And that's what makes life so exciting. And that's why balance is really more of a fluid thing. And the best way that I have found to walk people through this exercise is very similar to what we do in our weekly success planning course, or even at the end of our Setting Goals in God's Will Bible study that we have inside the membership. Is it's really just thinking about how you would want to feel in your life. So for example, if I were to say to you, I want you to think about if your life was balanced, what would that feel like for you? Now, we all have these ideas in our head of what a balanced life is. And so that regardless of how you define it, it's going to create an image in your mind. And when you think about your life in that image, what feelings come up for you? How would you describe what balance is if you just think about it right now? Like if your life was in balance, what would it look like? And I know for me, it's freedom and power. Those are like my 2 biggest ones how I describe balance in my life. And I say freedom because when I am in a balanced situation, and mind you, I've spent many years unbalanced and able to find through mentors and just the right resources and learning through my own life that when I feel unbalanced, I'm usually held captive by something, whether I feel trapped in a job that I don't like, or I feel stuck in my marriage and it's not moving in the positive direction that I want it to move in, or I feel stuck where I don't know what to do as a mom and I feel like I'm maybe messing things up or not doing things right or stuck in my health. Whenever I feel stuck, that's the opposite of freedom. So that's how I define balance for myself is I'm going to feel free. I'm not going to feel stuck when I'm in balance. And that's usually a really good way that I can gauge if I'm starting to get unbalanced is if I feel stuck in any one area, then I need to really look at it and say, okay, what am I not giving attention to? What am I not focusing in on? What have I not been intentional about in my life that's making me feel stuck? So freedom's a big one for me. And then the other one is power. And again, it goes back to tying really closely to freedom. But if I feel stuck and I feel like I can't move forward, like there's no way that I can move forward. So you kind of think about it like as a pendulum, right? We talk about this sometimes where the pendulum swings really far to one side and really far to the other side. Well, when I feel helpless, that's the pendulum swung all the way over to the other side where there is the nevers, things never work out. It's always going to be this way. That is where I lose power. And so when I'm in balance, when I'm feeling really balanced in all of those areas of my life, not only am I going to feel freedom, but I'm going to feel powerful to be able to move in that freedom in a wise way that's going to be in alignment with where God wants me to go. So for me, that's how I define balance for myself. And again, whenever I feel like I am stuck or I feel like I'm losing power, I go through those different areas of my life to kind of check and say, okay, but do I feel that in my faith? Do I feel that in my marriage? Do I feel that in my parenting? And I just keep going through until I find the area that I'm like, nope, that's the area I don't feel it in. That area right there, I need to focus in on a little bit more. And then that's the area that I will run through the life balance system, which we teach inside Life Balance membership. It's one of the courses. It's really the backbone of the whole membership where we walk you through step by step how to kind of lay it out throughout a month. Well, really, in 90 days and then a month and then a week in your daily activities. So you can really be living it out. We show you step by step by step. So you can be creating these systems for yourself in your own life. But those words that come up for you as you define balance for yourself, as you think about what it feels like, that is your new definition of balance. It's not time or anything else that you've thought about it previously. It is truly achieving whatever feeling that is that comes up for you. Now, step number 3 is to really just commit to the process of living it out. So it's very similar to step 1, right? Step 1, remember, is all about deciding to believe it, deciding to do that shift of your mind. Number 2 is all about defining it by emotion. And then number 3, again, when you're committing to living out this process, it is so key because you need to give yourself grace because it is a process. It is a journey. And I hate to say it, but there's no finish line this side of heaven. There's never going to be a, whew, okay, I hit balanced. Now I'm done and I'm just going to stay this way forever. That doesn't happen. It's a continuous process. There are going to be times you feel like it's just not working, it's not happening for me, and that's when you need to hit the reset button. And if you're in the membership, you'll go back through the Clear Your Chaos course, tighten in on some of the systems that you've learned, make sure that you're in community, but most importantly, give it to God and make sure that you are in relationship with Him. But even with all of that said, committing to it anyway, and knowing that God is going to be by your side, that's what step 3 is all about. It's deciding and committing to run your race and run it well. Now, if you are currently looking for more balance, if you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like it's an uphill battle and I just am not sure I believe, I need help believing, I need help figuring this out and making these systems work, I want to invite you over to Life Balance membership. Okay, so number 1 is you can try it for free for 7 days. And starting on August 19th, we're actually going to all run through the Clear Your Chaos course. It's the first course in the membership together in our community. Now, normally when you join, you do things at your own pace and you just kind of check into the community, and we do our monthly group coaching and our different monthly topics for workshops and things like that. But typically you're kind of just going through the motions of doing these courses and going on this journey at your own pace. But on August 19th, whether you're an existing member of Life Balance, This is a great time for you as we're switching seasons to come in and really dial it in with the Clear Your Chaos course. And if you're not yet a member, it's a great time for you to join us and go through the 7-day journey with us. So in the Clear Your Chaos course, every single day you have a short little audio lesson and then you have an activity to do that day. Now this course has been designed to help you really kind of set some of those habits in place, to help you examine all of those different areas of your life so you can really see like, where do I need to focus? What areas are out of alignment? And most importantly, what are the steps I need to take in order to get them in alignment? So we're going to be doing all of that together in August 19th. Now we are also going to be doing another week in September. So if your kids are still on summer break and you're like, I would love to do that, but right now it's just too crazy, we'll be doing it again in September. Or just join anytime and go through the 7 days at your own pace. But I would love to know how you are defining balance for yourself. And most importantly, I just pray that you would trust in God, that you would trust in the process and the journey to know that He's got you in the palm of His hand, that this is something you can definitely do because nothing's by accident. And He's called you to right where you are right now for a reason, for a purpose. And if you're feeling like you're drowning between work and kids and everything else, I just want to remind you that you've got this. You totally have this. I mean, God created you for this. I believe that you can do this. I believe that you can make a difference in the world that God has you in the surroundings that you're in. I totally believe that He can use you as the light, but you first need to believe that you can do that for yourself. Now, this might be the end of our 7-week series, but it is certainly not the end of anything else. We have a lot of great content coming up for you, some amazing guests lined up as we move into the fall, and I am so excited to be bringing them to you. So next week, we are going to have a great transition week. So if you're ever in that point of a transition between seasons and just kind of needing to hit the reset button and get those steps to go ahead and do so, that's exactly what we'll be doing next week. So I can't wait to bring that to you. And until then, keep building a life that rocks. Bye. Hey, just because the episode's over doesn't mean we have to stop hanging out. Head on over to Instagram and follow me there. You can find me at your.life.rocks. Or if you're more of a Facebook kind of girl, join our community of working Christian moms just like you. You can search Your Life Rocks over on Facebook and connect with us there. And if you're ready to truly create lasting balance and get results in your life, maybe it's time for you to join Life Balance Membership. Download the Your Life Rocks app in iTunes or in Google Play. You can upgrade to the membership right inside the app. And if you're looking for more resources to help you create more balance, head on over to yourliferocks.com.